Trump is the closest thing to God.
Trump is the closest thing to God, really?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you believe that Trump is picked by God?
I believe so. I believe that Trump is blessed by God. I believe that Trump has come from blessed parents. His parents worked for what they had. His parents made him, molded him to become the person that he is.
But so Trump is selling Bibles for $60.
Okay.
Is that he's profiting off of selling Bibles? Is that a godly thing to do?
Is it a godly thing for the Democrats to be okay with killing their babies? Is that okay?
I guess you answered my question with another question.
Okay.
Just answer this question. Is it a godly thing to do for Trump to be?
Absolutely. It's a business. He's a businessman. That's what this country needs. What do we need? What are churches doing? When you go to church, don't they ask you for $1? Don't they ask you to do this and that? Churches are businesses. This whole country's a business. Trump is the closest thing to God.
Maria Hernandez was deported on Tuesday after ICE raided her Miami home.
God bless.
This is how it went.
Why are you voting for Trump for? Because I'm fucking tired of being broke.
And this is how it's going.
I've been fucking pumped for this no tax on overtime. I've been fucking ecstatic, dude. I know America's been waiting on this shit. Everybody's been bragging. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna have so much extra money. It's gonna, bring in so much more money per month. Wrong, motherfuckers. Wrong. I did the fine print looking. It is not fucking gonna help us month to month. It's not gonna help you check none. They're still gonna tax the fuck out of your goddamn check.
Buddy, you voted for the man who lied over 33,000 times while in his first term, has conned people his whole entire life, and you yourself expected not to get lied to and conned? Well, I guess this is what it looks like when a Trump supporter decides to wake up, take the boot out of his mouth, and realize, yo, we were right. Donald Trump's only interest is giving tax breaks to his billionaire best friends while screwing over the middle class. We told you that. You said, ain't no way that a billionaire and his best friend, the richest man in the world, won't.
This is the craziest FAFO I've come across yet. Mario Guerrero is a 3-time Trump voter who owns a construction business in South Texas. And he is curious why his workers are being picked up and detained by ICE. They said they have been raided between 10 to 15 times. They've lost $5.4 million worth of business, and the new subdivision they've been working on that was supposed to be complete in 1 year is now going to take 3. Literally can't make this up. A man voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and his entire workforce is made up of basically undocumented migrants, and he's confused when he saw the mass deportation signs now and that they're coming after his undocumented workers. This might be the best FAFO yet, because how as a Hispanic man do you vote for Donald Trump 3 times as an owner of a construction business in South Texas employing undocumented migrants and then wonder why the leopards ate your face?
Abdelatif Hafraoui and his wife Sandra voted for Trump 3 times. Now he's being deported. They've changed their mind. To quote Sandra, we thought he was going to go after criminals. We thought he was going after other people. I never thought the leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. He's been held for like 100 days. He's now got an ankle bracelet. They're deporting him. They're huge Trump supporters. He claims he had a screw up where basically he had an attorney who's been thrown in prison now because the attorney was basically cheating all these people, was helping him regularize. He's been in the States for decades from Morocco, helping him sort of regularize his citizenship, whether green card, whatever it was. And he had an appointment with the immigration folks, didn't show up because his scam lawyer didn't tell him he had the appointment. Well, because he didn't show up, the immigration folks said, you're out of here. They deported him, right? Well, he then comes for some other follow-up meeting and they grab him and they're deporting him. Well, they're all sad now because, again, they thought Trump was going to kick out the Latino criminals, not the Moroccan ones.
They thought the pain would hit other people. They cheered for deportations, tariffs, and harsh crackdowns because they believed they were protected. But now, Latino Trump supporters are facing deportation fears. MAGA farmers have lost workers. Their businesses are suffering and prices are rising. The lesson is simple. When you vote for cruelty, cruelty doesn't stay in one lane. It always comes back around. And many are now learning that racism is not just immoral. It is expensive. Let's dive into it.
My name is Russell Baining.
Hey, Russell.
My family and I farm right south of San Antonio.
Oh, cool. Good for you, sir.
We're buying nitrogen right now. And it's about 40% higher than it was, 2 or 3 months ago, before the conflict. Let's just say that.
Gee, I wonder what happened that would have caused these spikes in prices for you. But, wait a minute. What's this in your background? Because it looks like you're standing with a certain someone that's causing all the problems right now. But, do go on.
Let's be honest about it. Tariffs have caused the price of our inputs to increase.
Are you feeling terrified from tariffs?
If you want to look at it from the 30,000-foot view, agriculture pretty much still trusts this administration. That's still what I hear.
It sounds like Russell has entered the find out phase of FAFO. So here's a bit of a fun fact. During the 2024 election, 444 farming dependent counties voted at nearly 78% for DT. Meaning that a lot of them voted for the policies of this current administration, but are suddenly complaining that they're getting exactly what they voted for. If I voted in favor of such things as like universal health care or like an improved mass transit network, I genuinely would be happy. These farmers over here are complaining about such things as tariffs, the rising cost of diesel, and those immigration raids in which they relied on immigrant labor for. But in conclusion, all I do have to say to Russell is, have the day that you voted for. Bye.
I was definitely, all for Make America Great Again and having a strong, unified country and a bright future for my 5 American children. But now I feel a little differently. I'm a legal resident green card holder. I have been since 1981.
Chris Landry has lived in New Hampshire since he was 3 years old. He has a partner, 5 children, and a job in manufacturing. He was stopped at the border in Holton, Maine on Sunday while returning from a family vacation to Canada.
They pulled me aside and started questioning me about my past convictions in New Hampshire.
3 hours later, the 46-year-old was told he couldn't come home despite having a green card and being a legal U.S. resident. He spoke to us from New Brunswick, Canada.
They denied me re-entry and said, don't come back or we will detain you. And the only way for me to get back in was to see an immigration judge.
Your groceries are about to start acting funny, and it ain't by accident. Right now, 78% of farmers are struggling. And it's not because they forgot how to farm. It's because their fertilizer costs have doubled. And why, you say? Well, because of the war in Iran. See, when the Strait of Hormuz gets locked up and blocked, well, it doesn't just stop the flow of oil. They're also checking off a major route for fertilizer production and transport. Translation, you say? The stuff that helps crops grow has gotten expensive as hell. And see, here's the part people don't talk about. The U.S. imports about 25% of its fertilizer, including 18% of the nitrogen imported. So all that we don't need nobody talk, that sounds cute until your supply chain gets cut off like a bad phone bill. Now you stack that on top of tariffs, trade wars, and rising costs. Farmers are getting squeezed in every direction like toothpaste at the bottom of the tube. And when the farmers struggle, you struggle. Because they don't eat those costs, they pass them on to you. So yeah, elections have consequences. Policy has consequences. War has consequences. But I just want to know, are you tired of winning yet?
Whoa, boy, farmers are going through it, man. This one's getting it hard. 0 profit last year. In the red means you didn't make money. You worked for free. And this one in Illinois is worried about this year. Check out this farmer in Illinois.
I'm standing on a corn and soybean farm in Hull, Illinois. It's, as you can see, super rural. It's on the Missouri border in southwest Illinois, and it's literally half a world away from the war in Iran. But amid its ripple effects, 4th-generation farmer Rod Bushmeyer and his family already fear ending their 2nd year in a row in the red.
Yeah, you can only do that so many years. Hopefully it's cyclical. We're in a down cycle, and hopefully we'll head up.
He says last year it was the tariffs that did them in, and this year it's the still soaring cost.
This year is not going to get better for farmers because we're in this Iran war. He complains about high diesel cost, high fertilizer cost, also tariffs, also The trade war has ruined relationships. If you didn't know, farm bankruptcies are skyrocketing. Farm suicides are skyrocketing. And you know what? They voted for number 47 in his first term, and they got screwed. They got screwed in their first term, and they're voting for him again. So they made no profit last year. They're looking to make no profit this year. Farm bankruptcies are going to skyrocket. And just so you know, this was all in Project 2025, and this was available to farmers as well.
The ramifications and the economic shocks that are coming because of this war with Iran are going to be devastating to the United States for years. 30% of the world's fertilizer comes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's 30% of the fertilizer used to grow your food. Everything you eat relies on that fertilizer. It either goes directly into the plants or goes into the plants that then go into the meat that you eat. Either way, the price of that is going to skyrocket. And this is the worst time for that, because now is right when farmers are starting to plant their crops and do things like that. So they need those fertilizers. And a lot of small mom and pop farms are probably just going to go out of business because they're not going to be able to afford the fertilizer to plant the crops and grow the crops that they need to sustain their family farm. And the corporate farms will just raise the prices on everything, on everyone, to cover the cost difference, because they don't care. Shareholders got to make their money. Line number must go up. So they don't care. They're going to raise their prices. And this is going to cause a food shock throughout the entire world if they don't get this straight open, well, like a month ago.
This is getting out of control. I just went and put $150 in my hay squeeze, and it barely gave me a quarter tank of diesel. Can't farm much longer like this.
If you say that Trump is a Christian just because he says he's a Christian, you are not doing Jesus or the Bible any favors. If you truly are a Christian and have read the Bible, you would see that in James and in the New Testament, it literally talks about knowing Christians by their fruits and by their works, and that's how you will know if they are a Christian. It literally says people will deceive you by saying I'm a Christian. The term using the Lord's name in vain literally refers to when a person is saying they are a Christian and tricking people that they are a Christian in order to get power or to abuse others or to emotionally manipulate and hurt others. That is what using the Lord's name in vain is. Or like posing with the Bible when you can't even talk about a verse or a chapter in it. Yes, I know Christians believe that anyone can be a Christian and be saved, but the Bible says is that they will repent, they will have a turn of heart, they will turn from their evil ways, and this includes humility and saying sorry and admitting what you have done, and then they will show the fruit of their actions. Trump has not displayed any of that. I am confident in saying he is not a Christian. And if you are still defending him, please look at all of the other evil people who said they were Christians in order to get power and abuse.
What you're witnessing right now, it is something that was warned about long before it happened. People warned that policies built on division, punishment, and fear do not stay contained. They expand and eventually had the same people who applauded them in the beginning. And now some of the people being hit the hardest are the ones that believed that they had a seat at the table, you know? Many Latino Trump voters, they supported him, thinking that they were different, thinking that the attacks were only aimed at others. They believed that if they aligned with power, that they will be protected from the hostility aimed at immigrants or even minorities. But history has shown us that once fear becomes policy, it doesn't ask who you voted for or reward loyalty, you know? When you look at MAGA farmers, they celebrated immigration crackdowns without asking one question, you know, who actually works the farm, who harvests the crops, because America has depended heavily on immigrant labor for decades. So when mass deportation becomes the goal, crops rot, you know, costs rise, production slows, small farmers struggle, consumers pay more, the entire supply chain feels the pressure, and suddenly what sounded like a slogan turns into an economic crisis. So the same thing happened with tariffs. Many people cheered tariffs as if they were only punishing other countries, you know. But tariffs are often taxes paid by businesses importing goods, and those costs usually get passed down to everyday people. But you see, many people did not listen because they were voting from resentment and even anger. They were voting to hurt others, but they end up hurting themselves. And that's why you see, they vote against affordable health care because they don't want someone else to benefit. And the lesson here is bigger than one politician or even one election, that when you normalize policies rooted in racism, division, racism is always expensive. When you vote to punish others, don't be shocked when punishment reaches you too. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.